Okay. Let me begin share my screen. Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, Kishore, we can see the screen, but you need to click on the recording tab.
I have done that.
No, we haven't got the notification.
It shows if I go
will
to
pause.
recording now, it will pause now.
No, it is showing as paused.
Not yet.
I had got the recording notification.
One notification came for some note taker.
You got it, Nikhil?
Yeah, I got that.
And when I go for recording, it says pause or stop recording. So that
So
means this
maybe,
is
Kishore,
happening.
you can just pause and start again.
Okay.
For me, it is showing as recording paused. That's the reason.
Now is it showing right? I have again resumed recording, right?
If it is recording, it is fine then, because I can't see.
It shows recording.
Okay, then it is fine. Please continue. All the best, Kishore.
Kishore, good evening. Neera here. Because
Good
when I just
evening.
logged in, it gave me a message saying this meeting is being recorded.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So let me. Okay. Okay. Are we ready? So welcome everyone to this program. What I call is Ethics in Action. As you know, this is ICF Core Competencies deep dive sessions, and we are discussing about the first core competencies demonstrates ethical practice. What we are going to do today is we are going to explore what it truly means to demonstrate ethical practice. Not just knowing the rules, but living by a sense of inner integrity that guides every coaching interaction. So let us begin with a short reflection. I request you close your eyes for 10 seconds and think about one question. What does ethical practice mean to you as a coach? And Nikhil, I know you are driving, so please don't close your eyes.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you said it. Thank you.
So what you can still reflect and think about, what does ethical practice mean to you as a coach? And then when you come back, put that in chat. Describe one word. What does ethical practice means to you as a coach? Okay. Wow. Alignment, confidentiality, beautiful words. Can we see more? When I was thinking about behavior in line with principles and values, wow, amazing. The words that came to my mind were honesty, trust, respect, integrity, and each one reflects a part of our ethical compass. So let us see how ICF defines this competency. What ICF says, it says understands and consistently applies coaching ethics and standards of coaching. At its heart, ethical practice is about trust. Trust that the client's story is safe with us. Trust that we will act with integrity. Hi, Aishwarya. Good to see you. So, trust that we will act with integrity even when no one is watching. And trust that we will honor the profession's standards. Think of a time when you faced a gray area in your coaching practice, something that was not clearly right or wrong. How did you decide what to do? Just you can unmute and speak. A gray area, something that wasn't clearly right or wrong, and how did you decide what to do? I will share my case, like, that in one coaching assignment, the sponsor separately connecting and asking how the client is doing. And in my mind, it goes, what should I share? What should I not? If I do not entertain the sponsor, will this assignment continue? And how do I respect the confidentiality of the client? Just think what advice you would give to a coach. Okay. We will revisit this again. These are 7 ethical behaviors which, yeah, I have something in chat. Wow. Sweta, anything that aligns with my value, I will choose. Safeguard the confidentiality of the coachee, Dr. Neera Gupta. Nice. We will come back to this maybe a few minutes later and see what we can do. These are very good, fantastic responses. But when we have an agreement, what can we do? How can we deal with this when we are entering into an agreement at initial stage itself, so that there is a clarity? So these are 7 ethical behaviors or 7 markers which ICF Core Competencies says. We will take one item at a time and see if time permits, we'll try to cover all the 7. This is 1.1, which says demonstrates personal integrity and honesty in interactions with client, sponsors, and relevant stakeholders. So the question is this: what's one way you ensure your client experience honesty from you? You can put in chat or you can unmute and speak up.
So it's discussed in the coaching session. I think details of that need not be shared with any sponsors or anybody else. That's yeah. And from the sponsor side, when sponsors shares something about the coachee, that also needs to be kept confidential.
Mhm.
Setting expectations during the coaching conversations, at the initial conversations, clarifying the role of the coach there, also seeking the expectations of the client and the sponsor, etc., so that there is a lot of clarification conversation right at the start, which will establish the integrity within the session and the clarity that is required to hold certain values together.
Absolutely. You are on the point, Aishwarya. So when we say there is a phone call and a sponsor casually asks how their leader is progressing, as a coach, you know confidentiality applies, but you also want to maintain relationship. How would you respond in the moment? Or what language would you use or can balance honesty and confidentiality? There are 2 aspects here in the conversation. One is comfort and other is integrity. So purpose of this question is to create reflection. That integrity is not pleasing the sponsor. It's about protecting the foundation of trust. How much, as a coach, I'm going to share, and that we know. We set that in the initial calls when we are having the agreement stage itself. Let's move to 1.02 says coach is sensitive to client's identity, environment, experiences, values, beliefs. Have you come across in your coaching experience something, a situation like, let us say a client often references or refer their own spiritual belief. But the coach does not share the same worldview and feels kind of, unsure how to respond authentically. What would you do if you are the coach?
I think it's one of the most basic processes in coaching that you and your client may never share the same belief systems or the values or etc. That we come along with it, or even the
Mm,
worldview.
mm,
Um, and it's not about you versus them or them versus you in that conversation. It's about helping the client, with whatever has come up in the session, and therefore, how, how is this, how whatever has come up is connected to the situation that they are in right now. So if
mm.
that can be reflected back, I think bringing back the here and now process, and not getting into a battle of your belief versus mine. I think that would be
Yeah.
what needs to be done in such a situation.
Yes. So there is a difference between respecting and agreeing. As a coach, I don't have to agree to whatever client says, but still I can be respectful. So in the session, maybe curiosity might help a coach instead of getting into the own inner dialogue of, what he says or what this person says doesn't match. It is totally different from my own worldview. Staying curious and open. So when we are sensitive, that doesn't mean sameness. Any other thought, comment? Okay, we'll move on to next one. So uses language appropriate and respectful to clients, sponsors, and relevant stakeholders. Just reflect on one thing. Think of a phrase or expression that you have stopped using after coming in coaching. Something that could carry judgment or an assumption.
On a lighter note, my driving behavior and coaching behavior are very different. So there are still phrases I may use there, but I may not use in coaching.
Okay. Hmm. Say, I give you an example. A sponsor asks a coach for a progress note, and the coach describes the client as something like resistant initially, and sometime later, the client happens to read that summary. What do you think? What alternative or different language could preserve the respect? question is, how can we share observation without judgment?
One way of doing that is by using tentative language like seems, like, seems like X took some more time to open up at the beginning. Instead of writing definitive language like appeared, or appeared is also tentative, but definitive language like the client was resistant, because that's when you are concluding with your judgment. You're not opening it for, there could have been possibilities.
Yeah. Thank you, Aishwarya. So we have to be careful that when I'm sharing observation, be more sensitive and careful about choice of words, and that shows more of positive intent than my own judgment. Intent from the part of the client particularly. In fact, this is a case. This is the story of my upcoming book that is going to come at the end of this month, The Stone and the Pond. What happens when a coach meets a reluctant coachee? The story begins from there, that point. Let's move on to our next one. Yeah, we had it in chat. Dr. Neera Gupta says, being more thoughtful about possibility and different ways to solve. Yeah, absolutely. .04 abides by the ICF Code of Ethics and upholds the ICF core values. And 4 ICF core values are professionalism, collaboration, humanity, and equity. So, which of these values most naturally guides you as a coach? And which one challenges? Yes, Nikhil, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it, but I think humanity, I think, is the foundation for everything. You know.
I was going through the document, particularly that ICF Code of this document. It has got so much detail about the professionalism, collaboration. It talks of the entire ecosystem, the ICF families ecosystem, and it includes almost everything.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Collaboration with fellow coaches, collaboration with ICF people, different chapters, all those things come in that.
Mm.
I've downloaded a document. If required, I will share in chat.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice. We'll take a quick read. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do that so that before I forget, I can.
I think one of the things we talked about in professionalism was when, a coachee should never feel pressurized by the coach for sessions or something. Like, I mean, client decides when they want the session and when they don't want the session. If a client says I want to finish it, the coach should not go ahead and say no, you should. I mean, no upselling. That no, you should do this also. You should do that. I think that was a part of professionalism. I remember we spoke about once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. I'm not able to upload the file immediately. Maybe if I'm not able to do now, then I will share in group.
Sure.
Okay. Do we have any other thoughts, comments? Okay.
For me also, the guiding principle has been humanity, and everything along with humanity follows. and of course, professionalism to maintain the standards of the coaching agreement that gets decided. So whether it is being on time, making sure the clients don't feel forced, or ensuring that full attention is given to the client, all of that, even stating the confidentiality norms, etc. All of that falls for me under the professionalism practice.
Absolutely. Because first thing that comes, and I can tell you, to every client, when I meet for the first time in first session, I do tell them about confidentiality. The person might have experienced coaching before, but I make it a point to take at least 10-20 seconds to talk about confidentiality and what it means for them in this coaching program or the session. My emphasis is on this part. When we say maintains confidentiality and client information for stakeholder agreements and pertinent laws, definitely we have to follow laws. When you come to know that a client appears suicidal, okay, there you can't say, oh, it is confidentiality issue. Then you have to inform the appropriate authority about that. Or if there is any legal requirement by the statute that we have to follow. And whatever agreement is there as per the stakeholders. So it has to be around that. So my emphasis here is on this, is that confidentiality is not assumed. It is a negotiated and upheld. So when we are entering into an agreement at that stage itself, we define, because the word confidentiality, it may appear that everyone understands it, but the extent to which is confidential to each person may vary. So we, yes, please, Nikhil.
No, nothing. No. Just coughing. Yeah.
So that clarifying whenever this issue arises, that what was agreed at contracting stage, okay, maintaining confidentiality unless it is explicitly authorized by the client. We can offer a kind of thematic observation at high level, not personal data. Any question, any experiences, practical experiences that you might want to bring in here?
So
Okay.
I'm an organizational coach. So there are times when there is a mental health issue stemming up. Sometimes coaches are called to sort of give preliminary support to the individual who's experiencing mental health issues. And in the past, there have been times when my absolutely, uh, you know, regular coaches have expressed suicidal ideation in the conversation that we've had during the coaching session. And that time, I have been very open about how I have to share this forward with the HR business partnering team so that they can take care of any other needs, or if they would like to use the EAP services within the organization to help them through therapy and counseling, which will help them with the suicidal ideation process that they are experiencing, and so on and so forth. So this is something that's a very delicate area, and the idea is to not penalize the client for uh, experiencing and expressing something like that, because it's stemming from deep pain or grief or maybe anger or whatever that may be for the client, and yet being able to find the right support for the client so that the client feels comfortable using that support and doesn't feel being ostracized or penalized for sharing something that was very personal and deep down within them.
Mm. Thank you for sharing. I personally look at mental health on a, you can say, a scale roughly. I don't have any specific assessment to measure that. There are many available in the market. I call it this way. Maybe on one end of scale, you are at the bottom. So maybe say 0 to 20% level where you need clinical support. And then on the other end, maybe 80 to 100% of flourishing stage, there you are feeling great. And then majority of people fall between this 20 to 80%. Okay. So as a coach, I may have to use my own intuition a bit to understand that when a client shares those tendencies, up to what is it showing a pattern, or it is something like a particular incident and that is causing a feeling and that can be taken care of. But if the client continues to talk about that, is not able to move from there, then I will decide that, hey, it seems that you need help. Okay. Or I can tell that an additional help might be helpful to you. Still ask the client. And if I have to share with HRVP, then I will I would go to the point of not just directly reporting so that it becomes public, no, but I can, in a very delicate manner, I can say, hey, this client, I think, needs help. And how can we help this client without the person situation getting aggravated? So here, our sensitivity is required as a coach. How to take that to the next level. Shall we move on to the next one? Any other thought? Does that make sense, Aishwarya? Okay. This is very common, clear marker that maintains the distinctions between coaching, consulting, psychotherapy, and other support professions. Okay. What is the most common dilemma around this you face in coaching?
More common is the very thin line between coaching and mentoring.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of clients come with an expectation to find a mentor, um, and so do the sponsors. Sometimes feel when they're assigning somebody for coaching, they believe that they would find a mentor and who would have answers to and solutions to all the problems that they have already experienced, and sometimes it's not. So I think more than the distinction between psychotherapy and coaching and consulting, the line really blurs between coaching and mentoring in the
Yeah.
larger system that I have been in. And that's where expectation setting really helps, like really
Hmm.
looking at what is the client really coming here looking for, and what is the idea they have about a coach? What is the imagery they hold?
Yeah. So let us say client agrees when you set the boundaries, all those things. Now you are couple of sessions gone, few sessions, and in a mid session, the client asks you, just tell me what to do. You have led teams before, and then there is a strong urge to give advice. What advice you have for that coach?
Work with your coaching supervisor and unpack why is there the need to provide solutions immediately, and where is that coming in for the coach, and the
Yeah,
coach getting help for themselves would be the most ideal at that point in time.
yeah. And in the moment, how would you handle when client comes with this? I have personally been guilty of this.
What is your question, Kishore?
Mid session, a client says,
Hmm.
just tell me what to do. You have led teams before. And now coach senses a strong urge to give advice.
Yeah, so the advice is not to give advice.
What would you do?
I think I think this is an opportunity to figure out the dependency, the need for dependency for the client. And it's an opportunity to help them gain confidence in finding solutions themselves.
Yeah. So earlier I was kind of, as I told you, I have been guilty. So I would be ready to waiting for this question. If someone asked me, I can give. At least I am not guilty. They asked, that's why I gave them this answer. But now, yes, I have got.
Dr. Neera has written on the chat.
Yes, reframe as a question. If you were your own mentor, well, what would you tell yourself at this time? Mhm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Mhm. Now I have become slightly maybe better with experience. I'm not telling that I will not give you advice. Okay. But what I tell them, hey, let us explore this issue and we'll see if my experience can be helpful. Sure, I'll be there with you. Okay. But let us understand the situation. So I take the client on a journey of their problem, move them from problem to solution focus through our conversation. And there it goes like what needs to happen. Okay. So that way it helps me. It has been helpful to me. And of course, Dr. Neera's comment is very valid. Do you have any question, any comment on this or anything? We move to the next one, the final one, 1.07. Refers clients to other support professional as appropriate. What makes referral difficult in practice?
I think the knowledge of knowing what kind of professional will be helpful in what case.
Okay. Shweta writes competition.
Yeah. But one of the value is collaboration. No?
This client has come. I should not let go of this person.
Yeah. Oh yeah. FOMO. Yeah.
Clarity also.
Fear of missing out.
Sometimes coach wants to refer this client, but the client doesn't want to go. Client says, hey, I have to go to a therapist. I have to start my story from the beginning. I don't want to talk to them. I like your approach. I want to work with you. I had this case where I felt that I am not qualified enough to deal with a particular situation, but the sponsor happened to be parent of that person. So that sponsor would not want anyone else to involve. So I openly told that this case is this. I think I'm not qualified. I can do only coaching approach. I cannot go beyond that. I do not have that kind of training. But still, the sponsor said, you do whatever you can. Okay. Even the client was happy to be with me. And this relationship continued for almost a year. It did help the client. The client was able to come out of that situation. But I still felt, had they gone to a professional counselor or therapist, they would have got maybe better result.
Yeah.
So when there is a fear of losing the client, then the coach needs to work on their own practice and on their own fear also.
Yeah.
So these are 7 markers of ethical practice. And there are certain common ethical dilemmas which I have come across. I will put that on screen. That some internal case, if you are an internal coach, you happen to be the manager and coach both. Confidentiality versus organizational reporting. Okay. Some cases nowadays, some platform coaching, there is an AI listening to your conversation. So that makes you feeling weird, awkward also. Any other ethical dilemma that you might have come across? You want to add to this? Okay. And I'm sharing one document which I've downloaded from ICF Global Portal. It's a journey of ethical growth and maturity by Coach Lola Chetty, MCC. I don't know if it is readable on the screen. If not, I can open that document and share here. I can show you separately once I stop share. It talks about 7. I can share that document in our group also.
Yes, that would help.
Let me see if I can open that. Stop share. And then open. Show you. Can you see my screen? It is even smaller. I will zoom it. Is this clear? It talks of 7 steps. That first step is like an intuition, a feeling of unease, an expressed concern around a situation. Then you lean into 2 parts, consult, ICF Code of Ethics, purpose, values, commitments, standards, definitions, terms of contract, law. So from 2, you can move to the third step. Is it a clear breach of ICF Code of Ethics? Or is it an ethical dilemma? Then from 3 to 4, 5, 6, and 7, it is given. So I will share this document in the group. This is also available on ICF Global Portal. I have downloaded it from there. Okay, so that's all I have for you under demonstrates ethical practice. So I'm open for our chat, questions, comments, anything that you want to share or ask.
I think it was a good reflection. I'm good
Thank
for
you.
now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Kishore. Yeah, it was a great reflection. And thanks for opening the space for conversations.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. So,
Yeah.
with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Kishore ji.